First of all, let me say good after late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
You probably think of a basketball legend when you hear the name Magic Johnson, a man whose talent and charisma lit up arenas and brought countless championships to the Los Angeles Lakers. But behind that dazzling smile and highlight reel plays, Magic Johnson carries a story that is far less glamorous, yet far more human. Those were not much talked about, of course, considering seriousness of such challenges, especially with famous celebrities and athletes. You'd look at him differently once you heard his tragedies. Let's begin. Life after the diagnosis. Magic's story of living with human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, a journey that has tested him in ways no championship ever could. At 66, his life reminds us that even the strongest among us can face battles that cannot be measured in points or victories. In 1991, the world was stunned when Magic Johnson announced he had tested positive for HIV. At the time, HIV was widely misunderstood. Many saw it as a death sentence, something whispered about in fear and shame. The announcement shocked fans, teammates, and even casual observers. Here was a superstar at the peak of his fame, suddenly forced to confront a disease that carried not only physical challenges, but social stigma. Yet, what makes Magic's story remarkable is not the shock itself, but the courage and honesty with which he faced it. Magic's journey with HIV has been both public and deeply personal. In the years following his diagnosis, he navigated a world that was often cruel and uninformed. Friends distanced themselves. The media scrutinized every move, and yet Magic refused to hide. He became a symbol of resilience and hope, demonstrating that life does not have to end with an HIV diagnosis. His openness helped millions of people around the world, showing that the disease was not a moral failing, nor a reason to disappear from the world. Magic's voice humanized HIV, making it something we could talk about without fear or shame. Living with HIV is not a simple story of triumph. It is a daily struggle. The disease affects the immune system, leaving the body vulnerable to infections and illnesses. Managing it requires constant attention to medication, diet, and health routines. For Magic, this meant adapting his lifestyle and accepting limitations he had never faced before. The man who once ran full-court sprints, led his team with boundless energy, and lived at the center of attention had to confront a quieter, more disciplined fight, keeping his body strong and healthy, one day at a time. Yet, despite these challenges, Magic Johnson has lived a full life. He built businesses, mentored young athletes, and contributed to communities, showing that an HIV diagnosis does not define a person. He became a role model not just for people living with HIV, but for anyone facing adversity. His story is a reminder that resilience is not about never facing hardship. It is about continuing forward in spite of it. By refusing to be defined by the disease, Magic turned a personal tragedy into a source of inspiration. What makes Magic's journey even more relatable is the way it mirrors struggles we all face, in smaller, quieter ways. Most of us do not battle life-threatening diseases, but everyone faces challenges that can feel isolating or overwhelming. Magic's story reminds us that vulnerability is not weakness. Asking for help, accepting support, and being open about struggles are acts of courage. Living with HIV requires daily attention and honesty, and the lessons he embodies are ones we can apply in our own lives, even in less dramatic circumstances. Persistence, self-care, and the courage to keep moving forward. Over the decades, advances in medicine have made living with HIV much more manageable. Today, people diagnosed with HIV can lead long, healthy lives if they follow proper treatment. Magic Johnson has been a testament to this medical progress, showing the world that an HIV diagnosis is no longer an automatic death sentence. He became an advocate for treatment, education, and prevention, using his platform to raise awareness and reduce stigma. In doing so, he turned a personal struggle into a mission that benefits countless others. But there is also a deeper emotional side to living with HIV that is often overlooked. Beyond the medications and doctor visits, there is a constant negotiation with fear, uncertainty, and societal judgment. Magic Johnson has spoken about these struggles, acknowledging the moments of loneliness and doubt that come with the disease. In these moments, he is no different from anyone else facing a life-altering challenge. He experiences vulnerability, frustration, and worry. And yet, like many of us, he finds ways to cope, to keep moving, and to focus on what he can control. Did he stop living fully? Was he limited because of this disease at his later age? No. At 66, Magic Johnson's story is far from over. He is still active, still engaged with his community, and still inspiring others. His battle with HIV is ongoing, just as life itself is ongoing for all of us. There is heartbreak in his journey, certainly, but there is also hope, courage, and resilience. That is the essence of his story, that even when life deals you an unexpected blow, it is possible to live fully, impact others, and continue forward with dignity and purpose. Magic Johnson's life is a lesson in what it means to confront tragedy and transform it into strength. His experience with HIV reminds us that vulnerability is universal, courage is everyday, and resilience can come in quiet, persistent ways. While his story is uniquely his own, the emotions, challenges, and lessons it carries are relatable to all of us. We may not face the same battles, but we all have moments that test our spirit, our patience, and our hope. In facing those moments, Magic Johnson offers a blueprint. Live honestly, seek support, and never let a challenge define who you are. And that is a story worth telling. When you think this battle was enough, off the court, Magic faced another kind of challenge, one that tested his mind as much as his body. Dyslexic Magic. Off the court, Magic Johnson faced another kind of challenge, one that tested his mind as much as his body. Dyslexia. From a young age, he struggled to keep up in school. Letters and words didn't come naturally, and simple reading assignments often felt like mountains to climb. Classmates noticed, and some were unkind, teasing him for falling behind. The experience was frustrating, and at times isolating, but Magic's response to it was quietly determined. He refused to let it define him. To catch up, he had to put in extra effort. Summer classes, extra tutoring, and hours of practice became part of his routine. While other kids were playing freely during the summer, Magic was focusing on reading and writing, trying to bridge the gap. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt and embarrassment, and there were adults who didn't understand his challenges. Some even suggested he might never achieve much academically. Yet, Magic's attitude was one of persistence. He realized early on that overcoming dyslexia would require patience, creativity, and adaptability, skills that would later serve him both on and off the basketball court. Basketball became a space where dyslexia mattered less, and his natural talents could shine. On the court, he didn't need to read paragraphs or write essays. He needed vision, coordination, timing, and intuition. In a way, dyslexia helped him develop alternative ways of thinking. He learned to process the world visually and spatially, noticing patterns and movements that others might miss. Court awareness, anticipation of plays, and quick decision-making became second nature, partially because he had trained his mind to work differently in order to overcome reading difficulties. What seemed like a limitation off the court became a subtle strength on it. As he advanced to high school, college, and eventually the NBA, the challenges of dyslexia didn't disappear. They simply changed form. Contracts, interviews, and business dealings all demanded reading, comprehension, and writing skills. Magic had to work harder to understand written documents, relying on support from coaches, mentors, and advisors. He approached these challenges pragmatically, recognizing his strengths and finding ways to compensate for areas where reading was difficult. Instead of letting frustration take over, he turned it into strategy, learning how to navigate the demands of a professional career while managing his learning difference. Magic has always spoken about dyslexia in a practical, matter-of-fact way. He doesn't frame it as a tragedy, but as a challenge that required attention and effort. He emphasizes that struggling with reading does not equate to a lack of intelligence or potential. His life is proof of this. He became one of the greatest basketball players of all time, a successful entrepreneur, and a respected public figure. Dyslexia was never a barrier to his achievements. If anything, it shaped the way he thinks, solves problems, and approaches life. Importantly, Magic's experience with dyslexia makes him relatable to anyone who has faced a learning challenge or a skill gap. Not everyone excels in the same areas, and setbacks in one part of life do not define overall ability or potential. Dyslexia required him to adapt, persist, and develop creative problem-solving skills, lessons that anyone can take to heart, whether in school, work, or personal endeavors. His story shows that facing a challenge head-on, even when it seems discouraging, can lead to growth and unexpected strengths. Dyslexia also offered Magic perspective. He learned humility through his struggles and developed empathy for others facing difficulties. Those early experiences of being laughed at or underestimated could have been crushing, but instead, they became part of the foundation of his character. He learned to value determination, resourcefulness, and the quiet persistence necessary to overcome obstacles. These qualities became central not only to his basketball career, but also to his business ventures and his role as a mentor to younger athletes. In many ways, dyslexia shaped how Magic approaches challenges throughout life. He learned to focus on solutions, to see opportunities where others see barriers, and to rely on strengths rather than dwell on weaknesses. On the court, he became renowned for his vision, creativity, and anticipation, skills that likely benefited from the alternative thinking patterns he developed while navigating reading difficulties. Off the court, he applied the same mindset to entrepreneurship, advocacy, and philanthropy. Dyslexia never disappeared from his life, but he learned to work with it, around it, and even leverage it in subtle ways. Setting aside these challenges, Johnson dreamt big. From those early days in Lansing to the bright lights of the NBA, Irvin Johnson's journey was just beginning. Irvin Johnson wasn't always the larger-than-life figure that basketball fans know today. He started as a kid in Lansing, Michigan, growing up in a close-knit family that valued hard work, faith, and community. His parents, especially his father, were influential in shaping his early sense of discipline and ambition. Johnson's father worked long hours, but he made sure to spend time with his children, instilling in them the importance of responsibility and perseverance. These early lessons laid the foundation for the kind of determination Magic would later display on and off the court. As a child, Irvin loved sports, but basketball quickly became his true passion. Tall for his age and naturally athletic, he spent countless hours shooting hoops at local courts, often imagining himself in the arenas he would one day play in. Even as a kid, he had a competitive streak. Losing was never easy for him, but he also learned early how to push himself harder after setbacks. His time spent on playgrounds and neighborhood gyms taught him more than just basketball skills. It taught him focus, teamwork, and leadership, skills that would define his later career. School wasn't always easy for Irvin, and not just because of dyslexia. He had to balance academics with his growing dedication to basketball, and early on, he realized that excelling in one area required effort in the other. While he struggled with reading and writing, he compensated by learning to rely on his strengths: observation, memory, and intuition. These abilities helped him see patterns and anticipate movements on the basketball court, a skill that would become a hallmark of his playing style. Even in his school years, people began to notice that Irvin had a certain vision, a way of seeing the game differently from anyone else. High school was where Irvin Johnson's talent began to attract serious attention. Playing for Everett High School in Lansing, he quickly stood out, not just for his size, but for his energy, court awareness, and unselfish style of play. He was a natural leader, directing teammates, setting up plays, and scoring when needed. By his junior year, he was dominating at the state level, and it became clear that basketball might be more than a hobby. It could be his future. Coaches and scouts noticed his combination of physical skill and mental awareness, and many began to predict that he could play at the collegiate level. Despite the growing pressure to perform, Irvin remained grounded. His family and his community in Lansing provided support and guidance, ensuring that he didn't lose sight of who he was amidst the attention. Off the court, he remained approachable, friendly, and curious, traits that would later make him not just a sports icon, but a respected figure in business and philanthropy. These qualities also helped him navigate the scrutiny that comes with being a high-profile athlete, even at a young age. When it came time for college, Irvin made the choice that would define his early career. He committed to Michigan State University. His decision wasn't just about basketball, it was about joining a program where he could grow, learn, and challenge himself. At Michigan State, he quickly made an impact. His freshman and sophomore years showcased his unique style of play: quick decision-making, incredible passing, and an ability to lift his team in critical moments. Coaches described him as a player who could see the entire court at once, anticipate movements, and make plays others wouldn't even consider. Irvin's college career reached a defining moment during the 1979 NCAA tournament. Facing a powerhouse team in the championship game, he led Michigan State to victory, cementing his reputation as a clutch performer and a player with extraordinary poise under pressure. That tournament was a glimpse of what was to come in the professional ranks. A player capable of changing the game not just through talent, but through leadership and vision. It was also the moment when the nickname Magic truly stuck, reflecting the sense of wonder he brought to every game. Transitioning from college to the NBA can be difficult for many players, but Irvin Johnson adapted quickly. Drafted first overall by the Los Angeles Lakers in 1979, he stepped into a team that already had experience and star power. The expectations were enormous, but Irvin's confidence and preparation allowed him to thrive. He wasn't just another rookie. He was someone who could immediately contribute, change games, and energize a team. His rookie year confirmed what college fans had already seen. Magic Johnson wasn't just talented, he was transformative. Even as a rookie, Irvin displayed qualities that would define his career: leadership, vision, and a willingness to make those around him better. He could read the game in ways others couldn't, passing with precision and setting up plays that seemed almost instinctive. His height, skill, and charisma made him a natural point guard, and he quickly became the face of a new generation of Lakers basketball. By the end of his rookie year, it was clear that Magic Johnson was not just a promising player, he was on the verge of becoming a legend. His early life shows a young man learning to navigate challenges, balancing natural ability with hard work, and cultivating the traits that would make him exceptional. Dyslexia, community support, competitive drive, and a sense of responsibility all played roles in shaping the person who would become Magic Johnson. His rookie year wasn't an endpoint, it was a beginning, the first chapter in a career that would continue to surprise, inspire, and redefine what it meant to be a professional athlete. Showtime and rising stardom. After his remarkable rookie season, Irvin Johnson was no longer just a promising newcomer. He was becoming the face of a new era in basketball. The Los Angeles Lakers, already a team with history and talent, were on the verge of something transformative, and Magic would be at the center of it. What started as individual talent quickly evolved into leadership, creativity, and a style of play that would change the NBA forever. Magic's approach to the game was distinctive. He saw the court differently than most players, with a kind of spatial awareness that made him seem a step ahead at all times. Passing wasn't just functional, it was an art form. Fast breaks, precise assists, and no-look passes became his signature, energizing both teammates and fans. The Lakers began to embrace this fast, exciting style, which would later be famously called Showtime. It wasn't just about winning games, it was about making basketball thrilling to watch, blending athleticism with spectacle. Teammates like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who had been the steady force in the Lakers lineup for years, found a new rhythm with Magic on the floor. Magic's presence didn't overshadow the team, it elevated it. He had a knack for understanding each player's strengths, putting them in positions to succeed while orchestrating plays with remarkable instinct. Even coaches noticed how he could anticipate movements and adjust strategy on the fly. Under Pat Riley's guidance, Magic's leadership and vision began to shine, helping the Lakers evolve into a cohesive and unstoppable unit. Magic's personality off the court mirrored his play on it, vibrant, confident, and approachable. He had the rare ability to inspire trust and camaraderie, whether in the locker room or on the practice court. Opponents quickly realized that facing Magic meant more than going up against talent. It meant adapting to a player who could think several steps ahead and bring an entire team along with him. Every game became an opportunity for him to innovate, surprise, and energize both the crowd and his teammates. During these early Lakers years, Magic's style also set him apart from the rest of the league. He wasn't just a scorer or a passer. He was a leader who could elevate the performance of everyone around him. Fast breaks that seemed chaotic from the stands were orchestrated with precision in his mind. He had a natural ability to control the tempo, reading defenses and adjusting in real time. It was this combination of skill, vision, and adaptability that made Magic not only exciting to watch, but also incredibly effective in leading his team to victories. As the seasons progressed, the Lakers became known not only for their talent, but for the excitement they brought to the court. Magic was central to this identity, transforming games into experiences that fans remembered long after the final buzzer. The energy he brought to every match through his passes, leadership, and sheer presence helped solidify his status as one of the NBA's most influential players. Even as he rose to stardom, Magic remained grounded in the lessons from his early life. The discipline, focus, and persistence he had learned growing up in Lansing carried over to every practice and game. He knew that talent alone wasn't enough. Preparation, teamwork, and adaptability were just as important. This combination of natural ability and developed skill set the stage for the Lakers' dominance in the years to come, and it marked the beginning of an era that would forever be associated with his name. By the mid-'80s, Magic Johnson was no longer just Irvin Johnson from Lansing. He was a symbol of a new style of basketball, one that combined skill, speed, and showmanship. The foundations he built during these early Lakers years would carry him through rivalries, championships, and challenges, shaping the player and the leader that the world would come to know simply as Magic. Rivalries and championships. By the early '80s, Magic Johnson had firmly established himself as the centerpiece of the Los Angeles Lakers, and the team was entering its most competitive era. The Showtime Lakers were fast, flashy, and relentless, a style that both thrilled fans and challenged opponents. But with success came rivalries that would define not just a season, but a generation of basketball. The most notable of these was with the Boston Celtics, led by Larry Bird. Their rivalry wasn't just about wins and losses, it was a clash of styles, personalities, and philosophies, and it captivated the sports world. Games between the Lakers and Celtics were more than matchups. They were events. Magic's speed, vision, and improvisational playmaking contrasted sharply with Bird's calculated, methodical approach. Fans eagerly anticipated each meeting, knowing that every possession could swing the momentum. For Magic, these battles were both a challenge and an opportunity. He thrived under pressure, using his creativity and leadership to elevate his team in the most critical moments. Whether it was threading a perfect pass in traffic or orchestrating a fast break that left the opposition scrambling, Magic demonstrated an ability to influence the game beyond scoring alone. These rivalries were also lessons in leadership. Magic learned to manage egos, encourage teammates, and maintain focus amid intense scrutiny. Each playoff series required not just physical skill, but emotional intelligence. With Kareem Abdul-Jabbar providing steady inside presence and Michael Cooper offering defensive excellence, Magic's role was to tie the team together. His ability to anticipate movements, make split-second decisions, and inspire confidence in others became crucial to the Lakers' success. It was a level of responsibility that few rookies or young players experience, Yet Magic navigated it with poise. Championships soon followed, cementing Magic's status as an elite player. From 1982 through 1987, the Lakers captured multiple titles, often facing the Celtics in dramatic, closely contested finals. Magic's performance in these games highlighted his unique combination of skill, vision, and composure. He could score when necessary, but more importantly, he elevated his teammates' performance. His leadership was not loud or domineering, it was practical, intelligent, and inspiring. The Lakers were successful not just because of individual talent, but because Magic could make the whole team better. Off the court, the spotlight intensified. Media attention, celebrity life, and public expectations grew alongside Magic's achievements. Every move was analyzed, every game scrutinized. He had to learn to balance performance with personal life, maintaining focus while navigating fame that came early and in enormous quantities. Magic's charisma helped, allowing him to handle interviews, public appearances, and fan interactions with ease. But it also demanded maturity. The pressures of being a star on such a visible stage required resilience, patience, and a clear sense of purpose. Despite the intensity, Magic thrived in this environment. He became known not only for his skill, but for his confidence under pressure, his willingness to take responsibility in key moments, and his ability to turn potential setbacks into opportunities. His rivalry with Bird, in particular, pushed him to elevate his game, sharpening his focus and enhancing his performance. These moments defined his career, illustrating that greatness isn't achieved in isolation, it is shaped by competition, challenge, and the need to constantly adapt. By the mid-'80s, Magic Johnson had become synonymous with excellence and showmanship. The Lakers' Showtime era was at its peak, thrilling audiences and setting new standards for professional basketball. These years weren't just about wins, they were about shaping a legacy, both as a player and as a leader, and setting the stage for the challenges and triumphs that would follow in the later part of his career. The Johnson Magic. As the 80s drew to a close, Magic Johnson's career continued to shine, though the landscape of professional basketball and his personal life was shifting. The Lakers remained a dominant force, and Magic's impact on the team and the league was undeniable. His combination of leadership, creativity, and vision had transformed the Lakers into a team that was not only successful, but also iconic. Yet behind the glitz of championships and media attention, Magic was entering a new chapter, one that would test him in ways that had nothing to do with basketball. Even as he added more titles to his resume, Magic never stopped evolving as a player. His court awareness, unselfish style, and adaptability kept him ahead of competitors. He understood how to adjust his game to complement teammates, counter opponents, and maintain dominance over a league that was increasingly competitive. By this point, Magic's reputation extended beyond his skills. He was a leader who could inspire confidence, motivate others, and elevate his team in critical moments. Every championship run reinforced his role as the Lakers' anchor, the player around whom the team's success revolved. Off the court, life was changing as well. The pressures of fame, business ventures, and personal responsibilities were mounting. Magic was no longer just an athlete. He was a public figure, a role model, and an entrepreneur. Managing these new dimensions of life required focus, maturity, and balance. He embraced them with the same determination he had shown in overcoming earlier challenges, from dyslexia to early NBA expectations. But these responsibilities were not without stress, and Magic faced moments that reminded him that even legends are human. In 1991, Magic's life and career took a dramatic turn. This is where the heartbreak we mentioned earlier started. He publicly announced that he had tested positive for HIV. The news sent shockwaves through the sports world and beyond. At a time when HIV was still widely misunderstood and stigmatized, Magic's announcement was brave, courageous, and unprecedented. It changed the course of his life, forcing him to confront a new reality that would influence his personal and professional trajectory. Despite the challenges, Magic approached this moment with honesty and composure, immediately using his platform to raise awareness and educate others about the disease. His decision to announce his diagnosis was both a personal and public milestone. It required immense courage to step into the spotlight at a vulnerable moment, knowing that the world would scrutinize every aspect of his life. Magic's openness helped reduce stigma and opened conversations about HIV, showing that even the most extraordinary athletes are not immune to life's trials. The announcement marked the end of one era in his career, but also set the stage for the broader impact he would have beyond basketball. Magic's early retirement from the NBA was a significant transition. At the peak of his career, he stepped away from the game he loved, leaving fans, teammates, and the league in shock. Yet, even in retirement, he maintained his presence as a leader and influencer. His contributions to basketball were already legendary, and his willingness to confront personal challenges publicly only enhanced his stature. Magic's career was not just measured in statistics, points, or championships. It was defined by character, resilience, and the ability to inspire others. Magic Johnson's story shows that courage isn't just on the court. If you've been inspired, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.